Hey Bandidos, do you wish your character in the Division 2 ran faster? With this SMG build, you can. In fact, it increases your movement speed by 20%. That's a very unique buff and can only be found on the Lady Death. And in this video, I'm going to show you how powerful speed can be when synergized with the rest of your build. Hit like if unique and effective builds are for you, and comment need for speed down below to support the channel.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my
In the last video, I gave you a shieldless SMG build with awesome power. Today's SMG build delivers survivability in a different way: speed. The speed on this build is what's driving the power and the added survivability. It gets stronger and stronger as you go. Let's jump in. This is the Lady Death exotic SMG, one of the strongest weapons in the game. The striker chest piece talent in itself is one of the strongest chest pieces in the game. And this is the Bloodsucker talent, one of the best delivery systems for mega bonus armor. All of these items are top in their class, yet like most things in the Division 2, these items have a downside that can be inconvenient to a build or playstyle. For example, the Lady Death has a very small mag. The striker chest piece increases the striker stacks from 100 to a hefty 200 stacks, and those extra stacks degrade quickly. And Bloodsucker bonus armor on first kill is tiny and requires multiple kills inside 10 seconds to be worth a damn. The majority of the player base spends most of their time in the open world doing heroic control points. These fights are considerably more dynamic than missions and can be pretty spread out, making the agent run from one side of the control point to the other several times. The problem with this is that many talents we have expire over time, 5, 10 seconds, whatever the case. It's common the buff expires in the time it takes to go from one encounter to the other. And if the talent is never active when you need it, it probably needs to be replaced with something different. But when we put these three things together, they synergize and we have something very special. The Lady Death has a massive 75% amp damage stacks. You have to move to get them. That's it. On kill, you get 20% movement speed for 10 seconds. This can be refreshed. That movement speed is enough for us to get to the next engagement before our talents expire or degrade out. More importantly, that movement speed gets us to the spawn so we can jump the enemy right as they crawl out of their hole. This not only helps us clear the control point faster for more XP per hour, but it keeps the enemy from spreading out on us, which is more survivable. Because we're fighting larger groups in waves closer together, our talents are optimized for peak performance. Striker and the Lady Death give us enough power to chain kill for mega bonus armor from Bloodsucker. And when we have full striker stacks, thanks to the Lady Death helping us maintain them by moving from fight to fight faster, we no longer rely on the Lady Death amp damage stacks as much. So if we get cornered, for example, or are standing still while we chain kill on a spawn point, we still get the job done all the same. So you don't have to worry about running circles around the enemies, if you know what I mean. Many other Lady Death builds have to do that because the build does not have sufficient damage to perform without the Lady Death's amplified damage stacks, and you can only get those by moving around. The Lady Death exotic SMG is an amazing and very special gun. So it's got a 10% crit chance mod, 5% crit damage mod, 500% melee damage, and 10% reload speed. It's got 1035 RPMs thanks to this build and 32 rounds in the mag. It's got damage to armor on it with high crit chance, and the talent is called Breathe Free. So when moving, gain 4 stacks per second or 8 stacks if sprinting, up to 32 stacks. Each round fired consumes a stack, amplifying damage by 70%. That's absolutely amazing. Tons of damage. And with this, we are one magging elites. No problem. Kills grant 20% movement speed for 10 seconds. That can be refreshed. So you should know I am using the ACS shotgun as my secondary, and the one I'm relying on is the named version, which is called the Rock and Roll. You can use whatever version of this you want, but the ACS is definitely recommended. This shotgun helps us load up on those striker stacks when we kick off the fight. Of course, we're running 4 pieces of striker, so 2 pieces give us weapon handling, and then we get 15% rate of fire. And then there's striker's gamble, which increases total weapon damage by 0.65 25%. And at its base, we get 100 stacks of that. I got armor and crit damage on this chest piece, and the chest piece talent is what we're playing into here. Increases those max stacks from Striker's Gamble from 100% to 200%, and these degrade faster, which is why we need that increased movement speed so we can maintain these. The gloves are armor and crit damage. The knees are weapon damage and crit damage, and the holster finally is weapon damage and more crit damage. If you're looking to be part of a strong, positive community, then I have you covered. Join Tux's Discord. We're not elitists, and we're so much more than just clans and raids. Tux's Discord continues to grow as the central hub for the player base that loves this game and wants to see it thrive. And if you love builds, this is the spot. Also, join Tux's Players Club to support the channel, the cause, while getting access to member perks and extra content like gaming music playlists. Click the join button below. Now for the backpack, I'm using Bellstone. It gives us 1% armor regen. You can go with something different here if you want, like a Grupo or a Sokolov or even a Cheska, but I felt like we didn't really need any more offense. This thing is shredding, and thanks to Striker and the amp damage coming off of the SMG. This has armor for us, and then crit chance and crit damage, and then of course Bloodsucker. There is a named version of this with perfect Bloodsucker, I just don't have it. Anyways, Bloodsucker. So killing an enemy adds and refreshes a stack of 10% bonus armor for 10 seconds. Max stack is 10%. So basically this starts off as a very small amount of bonus armor, and each consecutive kill that you get stacks on more bonus armor. It actually multiplies that bonus armor, so it's not just 10% plus 10% plus 10%. No, it actually gets a lot bigger over time because of its multiplying bonus armor. And one thing to keep in mind is just because the enemy takes it away from you, as long as you're within that 10 seconds, the next kill will get you that next level of bonus armor. So it can be maintained even if the enemy takes it away from you. So remember that. That's very unique. And that's what separates it from something like Adrenaline Rush and the Memento. Just because it can be taken away from you, the next kill can not only get it back, but give it more girth. And the Coyote's Mask. So it's got weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage, and then I got more crit chance here. And really I'm playing into that 0 to 15 meter buff for the 25% more crit hit damage. Let's take a look at the crits. So we're at 59% crit chance and 146% crit hit damage, and then 25% more from the Coyote's Mask. So that puts us at 170% crit damage. Now I'm running the gunner specializations because as you could tell here, we have no heals. So we're relying on that bonus armor, but that bonus armor does come and go. And so we do need that 10% armor on kill from gunner, and that's why I'm running it. So I decided to go with the Banshee Pulse so I can disorient enemies, sort of jump big groups and prevent them from shooting at me. And then you do need some sort of resistance to help out a little bit. So I decided to go with the Crusader Shield. So I'm really careful not to over rely on the shield because speed is our survivability here. Speed is our strength. And that's why I'm running the bonus armor. So I try to get that bonus armor up really high and then not rely on the shield. So that way I can move from engagement to engagement quickly. And the shield slows down your movement speed. So only use it when you need it. So if you're just standing there in front of 3 enemies, obviously use it. But when you're running from one engagement to the other, pop it down and use your bonus armor. And that's why your bonus armor comes and goes, like I mentioned earlier. But remember, it's okay if it goes because that very next kill is going to not only bring back all of that bonus armor that you earned, but take it to the next level. So this is a very fun build. But like I mentioned in my live streams and other build videos, SMGs and shotguns can still be a challenge, especially for new players, but they are very important for you to master. That's because if you master shotgun and SMG builds, you can master any build in this game. One of the reasons why is because these weapons really perform at extremely close distances. I'm talking about inside 15 meters, really nothing longer than that. And I gotta say, the accuracy on the Lady Death isn't that great. I find it performs best inside 10 meters, actually. The closer, the better with this thing. Yeah, so SMG and shotgun builds, they require you to play smartly, you know, don't always take the most direct path at the enemy unless you got the edge on them, which is fine. And when you do get there, when you are in range, when you're in that kill box, this SMG really does do a good job of staggering, and the time to kill on it is amazing. You shouldn't have a problem killing elites in the single mag every time, but that is going to depend on your accuracy. I really go for mostly body shots when using an SMG because you don't really need to go for the head to kill them inside a mag, and that's going to improve your accuracy and minimize your reloads. And so one of the problems that I've had with this Lady Death in the past, and why I don't prefer it on many builds and other builds, is because in control points you're taking on basically 50 enemies at a time, and many times it's not always convenient for you to be running around. And so like if your armor drops and maybe they break your white armor too, and then you have to fall back into cover, you're no longer getting those amplified stacks. And what if you don't have those striker stacks either? So now you got like no damage and you're trying to defend yourself as they're flanking in on you. So what I found in this build is that the ACS shotgun really is a great secondary weapon, not just for building those stacks, but in those circumstances where you have to fall back and you have enemies flanking in on you, I just whip out that shotgun and not only do a good job of taking those enemies down, but also get my stacks back up. And like I mentioned earlier, when you have high stacks on Striker, you no longer need to rely on the Lady Death's amplified damage. And when you get a kill with the Lady Death, you're going to get that increased movement speed, which will allow you to run, fall back, go somewhere else, or push up on the enemy if you're ready to do that. This is a shieldless SMG build with the damage and survivability you need to stay out of cover full time.
Follow me.